Hello, everybody. This week we're going to be talking about natural resources. So for this PowerPoint, you should have these notes called natural resources, and as we go through the video, you'll be filling it in like I did here. Okay, our 6th grade standard is that we will be able to obtain, evaluate, communicate information about the uses and conservation of various natural resources and how they impact Earth. So what we'll focus on today is what are our natural resources and how can we conserve those? Okay, your ticket out the door today is to know what is the difference between a renewable and a non-renewable natural resource, and also how can you protect Earth's resources? Okay, so what is a natural resource? So it's any natural material that is used by humans, and that can include air, soil, minerals, water, oil, plants, and even animals. So we break our natural resources up into 2 categories. Our first one is renewable resources. So what are those? Those are a natural resource that can be replaced at the same rate at which the resource is used. So it can be replaced almost as quickly as they are used. And most of those come from the sun and from Earth itself. Some examples of renewable resources would be wind energy, solar energy that we get from the sun, hydroelectric energy that we get from water, such as in dams. When we build dams, when the water comes down, that creates energy. Geothermal energy, that's where we harvest the heat from under the earth, and also from biomass, and that is just simply when we burn natural things, it can create energy. And our other type of natural resource is what we call a non-renewable resource. So what are those? Those are resources that we use up faster than they can be replaced. And most of our energy that we use here in the United States comes from non-renewable resources, such as coal and oil, petroleum, all of those things. Yes, they're made by nature. They're a natural resource, but our Earth does not make them as quickly as we use them. So that's why it's called a non-renewable. Once we use those, they're gone. Most of our non-renewable resources come from different types of fossil fuels. Some examples are petroleum, natural gas, coal, and as I said, once these non-renewable resources are used up, they're not able to be replaced, which is a problem for our Earth. Okay, so let's practice looking at these photos to determine if these are renewable or non-renewable natural resources. So if it's renewable, we're going to write an R. If it's non-renewable, we'll write an NR. Okay, so let's look at this first one. This is a flame, and it's representative of natural gas. So do you think that that is renewable or non-renewable? If you guessed non-renewable, you're correct. Make sure you have an NR underneath that on your paper. All right, our next one, this is a windmill or a turbine, they're called, and that creates energy from the wind. So do you think that is renewable or non-renewable? And that is renewable, so you should have an R underneath that one. Okay, we've probably all seen these either in real life or in the movies. That's an oil well pump jack, and that is used to pull petroleum up from deep underground. So do you think that is renewable or non-renewable? If you guess non-renewable, you are correct. Non-renewable. Okay. This is our sun or solar energy. What do you think that is? That is renewable energy. This is a mining car full of coal. So do you think coal is renewable or non-renewable? Hopefully you said non-renewable. And then our last one is water, but we would call that hydroelectric power. Do you think that that is a renewable resource or non-renewable? And that is renewable. Very good. So now that we know about Earth's resources, we know that some are renewable and some are non-renewable. How can we protect these resources? Well, one way is through conservation, and that's the use of natural resources to ensure that they will be usable in the future. We don't want to use everything up in our lifetime and leave nothing for future generations. So stewardship is the careful and responsible management of a resource. And that is everybody's job. We have to all do our part. We need big companies to do their part, and we need people all over the world to do their part, not just us. We also have laws that help determine how materials can be used and released into the environment so that we don't pollute our air and water. So there's laws and regulations that control that. And then also we can think about the different ways that we can use less energy. A big one is by turning off lights when we leave rooms. I love at our school how they have those timers. So if no one's in the room, if you forget to turn the light off, a timer will shut it off for you. So I think that would be really helpful in our homes as well. But try to turn off lights when you leave the room. Another way, you can use the reusable shopping bags. I always try to do that. Sometimes I forget, but I do try to do that. Recycle. We can recycle aluminum, glass, paper, cardboard, lots of things we can recycle. We can also reuse things in a different way if you can think of some creative uses for things. And also an easy one is turn off water when you brush your teeth. Maybe don't spend a whole lot of time in the shower, just get in and get out just to help save water. Lots of things we can do. Okay, and to protect Earth's resources, we also need to preserve the land. We know that people rely on land for recreation, agriculture, transportation, commerce, industry, and even our housing. So we need to preserve our land. So preservation of land means that we protect the land from being damaged or changed. A lot of our national and state parks, they've blocked off the land so that it cannot be changed. So they've done a good job with that. Reforestation means like when we go in and cut down a bunch of trees to use for wood, we need to replant the trees. So that's called reforestation, planting trees to reestablish forest land. And then finally, reclamation. That means the process by which a damaged land area is returned to normal condition. We see this a lot on the coast where we've had hurricanes and different things where there's been a lot of erosion. They have to go back and reclaim it and turn it back into its normal condition. Some examples of preservation would be conserving water. We already talked about that. And soil conservation. So think back to, I think it was 3rd grade when you learned about George Washington Carver. He was the man that taught us about crop rotation. So we know now that you can't grow the same thing over and over and over in the soil. You have to change it to get the nutrients back into the soil. Otherwise, you basically kill the soil and nothing will grow. So that means, you know, changing your crops out. And we need to reduce air pollution. And that's another reason why we have those laws about what can be released into the environment and that sort of thing. Ways we can reduce air pollution would be to drive less, you know, ride your bike if you can, or walk, or carpool with someone. I know a lot of you guys ride the bus. That actually helps cut down on air pollution. Instead of having, you know, 60 of you guys, parents bringing you to school, we have one vehicle bringing a lot of children to school. So that helps. Every little bit helps, and if you can do things that you can think of that will help our environment, please do that. All right, I'm hoping that you can answer these questions. So number 1 would be, what are renewable and non-renewable natural resources? And the second one is, how do we protect Earth's resources? What are some things that you can do at your home, maybe with your parents' help, or things that you can do on your own to help protect Earth's resources? All right, I hope that you guys learned about this, and check my website for the rest of the assignments for this week. See you soon. Bye.